You promised yourself that you'd never find yourself back again in that same situation. For some, it might be the same toxic relationship, the same people that you're attracting, or just being caught up in that dead end job. And it is such a frustrating situation to be in. I totally understand. It might, like I said, it shows up to like different person, different job, but really it's just the same script that is repeating over and over again, just copy pasted with different faces, different situations, but it's still the same. So today, let's talk about why this is happening. And the crazy thing is you watching this happening in real time, like a train that's coming at you full force, but you just don't know how to stop the train. Okay? Is this familiar? I'm pretty sure it is familiar, at least in the shape or form. So let's see exactly in which different ways do I see these patterns happening over and over again in my clients. Some of the most popular ones I see are things like emotional availability. So this is something that is a big frustrating thing, right? It shows up in a lot of issues in relationship. If it's something that you feel like you're going through, do not ignore that, because if you ignore it, it's just gonna keep happening and happening again. It's not something that's just gonna like disappear just like that. So you really need to take very serious, care of that, and that is something I can totally help you do. Another way that we can see that often is constant burnout. Burnout is such a frustrating thing to notice, because you just feel like the battery is totally depleted. There's nothing left to give, right? And the burnout does show up in different way, of course. To some people it's overworking, overgiving. So yeah, it's not always about shutting down, but it's pretty much a feeling of you working at maximum capacity. Like it's overbooked, it's overfilled, it's everything. You just don't have enough steam. You don't have that level of energy to operate everything that is coming at you. And sometimes something that I find really interesting is that sometimes you might end up leaving a job and then just like getting another job, but then it's the same pattern that just keeps on continuing, right? So you really have to be careful about burnout, and that is something that I see that is quite a major sign, like telling you, letting you know that you are stuck in that loop and it's time to do something very different. Another thing that I see is abandoning yourself. So you might abandon yourself quite a lot in said toxic relationship, or in the different, like, in the relationship that you are having in your life, whether it's professional, whether it's personal, interpersonal, romantic relationship. Just abandoning yourself a lot. You're doing it, it's wrong, but somehow you just keep doing it over and over again. This is another very popular loop that will show up in our life quite a lot. So for example, like, you might leave another relationship because you're complaining that that person is not pulling their weight, and then ironically you might end up in another relationship where you find yourself doing the same thing. You can end up with someone that makes you feel like you really have to overgive based on their own attachment style, and then you might find yourself like automatically just like overgiving, and just because you're desperately trying to seek that person's attention, validation, and love. So this is all patterns that we need to pay attention to, because if we don't, they're not gonna stop by themselves. They don't really tend to stop by themselves. It's really like more as the cycles keep coming back and coming back, because the point is for you to learn from the cycle, right? But if you're not aware and the cycle just keeps on coming back, it tends to come back even more loud, more difficult, more, trying to catch your attention, until you finally say, all right, enough is enough. Another thing that kind of makes me really sad though is playing small. A loop that you can be stuck in is playing small, because you don't want to take too much space, you don't want to be too visible, you don't feel like it's safe for you to be seen, so you play small, or because you're scared that someone else is, that if you step into your own full person, that you would dim the light of someone else, which doesn't make any sense, which is totally not true at all, by the way. But these are all loop and common patterns that we can be really stuck in. So if that's you, don't beat yourself up. There's nothing wrong with you. It's something that, to be honest, it's kind of part of life. We all go through that. But like, there's hope you can get yourself out of it, but you just have to be aware of that. And this is where like the help can make such a big difference with your life. This is what I always see with my clients. It's always like, oh my God, I wasn't aware that I was stuck in that loop for like decades, So you need to know that there's nothing wrong with you, and then this is why we do what we do here. So that's something that I really dive really deep in with my clients, and I absolutely love to see, like, because the beautiful thing about your natal chart is that it really does tell you everything. It shows everything is in the open. It's a mirror that reflects yourself back to you, because a lot of time we have difficulties seeing ourselves the way we are. So this is why I think astrology, and especially your natal chart, is such an indispensable gem that you need to use it, because it's there for you. So now about the juicy part. Why do these patterns exist? Well, this pattern exists for multiple reasons, but a major reason has to do with soul contracts, is because the same way that we are very invested into self-development, well, your soul is pretty much the same thing. The reason why we come here is because we are on soul assignments. You could see it as mini, what can I say, like, like when you're thinking about the movie Mission Impossible, you on an assignment, you on a sacred mission. Well, in a way, your soul is doing the same thing, right? So when we reincarnate, I don't know, like, I know some people are at different stages when it comes to like reincarnation and these type of thoughts. So I don't know where you would be standing when you're watching this. If that's something that you're not quite comfortable with, it's okay. We're all moving at our own pace. But I just wanted to say that because I really feel like we need to talk about these things more open and in a very grounded way. It doesn't have to be that woo overcomplicated thing. So, right, when your soul reincarnates here, your soul really decides, okay, what do I want to work on in this lifetime, right? So this is why those patterns that you are seeing, they're all linked to what your soul came here to do, right? They're pretty much lessons that were crafted so that your soul can elevate the same way we're trying to elevate here in the physical plane, with self-help, with therapy, with soul work, with doing our shadow work. It's exactly the same thing with your soul. So it's all connected. So this is a reason why you might be stuck in those loops. Sometimes it has a lot to do with soul contracts that you've had with previous people, with the soul. And then you decided, all right, this is the setup that we're gonna create in this life, so we can learn the lessons. I swear, it's absolutely fascinating. And I'm so excited to dive deeper into these topics here. But it's a fascinating thing. You think about it. Nothing is random, and we have a tendency to get caught up in the hustle, like in life. Let's be honest, the day-to-day can be quite chaotic, but there's a pattern, there's a reason, there's a purpose to everything. And this is where I also really love the natal chart, because I do believe that the cosmos is a language. It's literally like the universe is some people call it God, the universe, the light, whichever term you are comfortable with. It doesn't even matter. It's all the same thing. It's pretty much a tool that the cosmos is communicating, is using to communicate with us, and it's absolutely beautiful. That's why I'm so passionate about this thing. That's why I'm like, why wouldn't you want to know that? Of course you want to know, your natal chart. It's pretty much your own blueprint. When I was a kid, I used to think, oh my goodness, are we really? I used to be that kid that thought about a lot of, deep concept, and I used to think, wait, are we just sent here without any manual? But turns out, no, we do have a manual. That's where your natal blueprint, your birth chart, actually comes in. So these patterns aren't random. their homework that your soul has chosen, to work here. So in this current lifetime, so it can evolve. And your birth chart shows you your own map, right? It shows you how those patterns shows up in your life. That way, I'm telling you, it's one of the best cues you can have. That way, it really helps you realign yourself back on your soul path. And the funny thing is, the same core wound, the same patterns will, like I said before, will tend to manifest over and over again until you actually step into them, until you have awareness of them. And then you shine the light upon them by being aware. That way you can take control over it. And this is when you start having the opportunity to rewrite your story. So I really want to make this clear. It's not that astrology is ruining your life. Astrology is not ruining your life at all. What happened is it's a tool that can help you with those challenges and help you decode what is happening in this matrix, in this simulation, And you can think about it like a soul homework, like your soul came here to do all sorts of work. And then the chart is one of the blueprint, right? It's one of the map. It's like your soul's GPS in a way. And like the same way, like I said, we love self-help so much, it's the same way that your soul also has its own purpose that it came here to realize, to accomplish. So something I really like to say, the pattern repeats itself, not necessarily to punish you. It's not like there's no crazy force out there that is so evil that is looking to punish you. The goal is to help you really, it's to give you the opportunity to change, the opportunity to wake yourself up, to wake you up. So you can actually take control of your life, right? So there are a few placements that can really enlighten you so much about your loop and help you get unstuck. Favorite of mine is good old Chiron. So Chiron is pretty much your core wound in your chart, and it can show you so many things, right? It's pretty much the wound that shape your sense of self. What does that mean? That means that it's often formed in childhood, like most of everything. And that wound, that thing in your chart, Chiron placement, can tell you so much about your life and really can help you understand what is happening in this, in this crazy simulation of yours. So some patterns the way that can translate is Chiron, you can pretty much over-identify with this wound, or you can overcompensate for it. One example is Chiron in Libra can really get you stuck in a people-pleasing type of pattern, right? So it's good to know these things because a lot of time we're doing these and we're not even aware of them, right? And you could see some like self-abandonment, which is such a big thing, and this is something that will hold you back so much in life. Once you start seeing self-abandonment and you open up your eyes and you're seeing, oh my goodness, I'm not only doing it in that situation, oh no, you're also doing it there. And you start realizing, you start reviewing your entire life and seeing it through the new lens and realizing how much these things truly impact you much more deeper than you realize, right? So you could have some self-abandonment and tendency to avoid conflict. So your Chiron placement can really, these are all things that can really shed a light. Another way you could see that is that you keep attracting people in your life that are mirroring, patterns to you on repeat. So these are all opportunities for you, and pretty much like the universe trying to bring your attention onto exactly what it's trying to get you to understand. When it comes to Saturn on the other side, it shows you where you're restricted, where you ask to mature, where it's time to kind of like level up. It's time to grow up. I know Saturn gets really a bad vibe, but Saturn is kind of like, for me, it's that dear teacher that only wants the best for you, that sees your true potential, but sometimes they need to, be a little bit more strict so you can fully blossom into that better version of yourself. So this is how I see Saturn. Saturn gets such a bad rep, but it doesn't have to be that scary. Right, again, the repetitions happen because it's trying to get your attention, right? Trying to get you to notice something so you can integrate the lesson and so you can make a change. Saturn in your second house is really a major theme about, you could see some lessons about your self-worth and the theme of money. So this is one way that you can start really paying attention to these things when you start knowing, oh, wait a minute, Saturn is in my second house. Wow, so that's why I do this. No. It's not about fixing, it's not about us pushing, bringing ourselves down. It's never about making you feel bad about yourself. It's literally about giving you the help that you can use in order to elevate yourself. We all want to elevate ourselves. We all want to grow. We all want to do the shadow work. But this is literally your personalized cheat sheet straight from the universe. You know what I mean? This is why I'm so excited every time I talk about the birth chart. In the 12th house, you could see like hidden gems, like unconscious cycles, things that, that can really give you a great insight into your life. You see things that are hard to see, that's where you could have a better picture of that. They're often mysterious, some ancestral stuff or some stuff like, to be honest, I feel like it's a lot of things that you carry from your like previous lifetimes or some attachment from, way beyond yourself. But the 12th house can be quite an interesting house to really dive into. So the goal of those charts, like again, it's not to beat yourself up. It's really to really help you engage and be more. What's the word I'm looking for? And take control of your life. Be empowered to elevate your life. And realize that you have so much more control than you realize. If you know where your Chiron sign is, then you can start asking yourself, why am I continuously living the same pattern? What is the Chiron? What is my Chiron trying to tell me? And how can I actually switch my movie for a better one? How can I elevate? How can I level up? How can I do all these things? These are all reflections that you could do just based on your Chiron sign, your Chiron placement alone. Other things that you can ask yourself, where do I know better, but I still act differently? We all know that. We know we shouldn't do this there, but then we still we still do these because we're kind of like on autopilot, and also sometimes we don't want to put the effort. But it's good to be aware of all of these things, of all of these blind spots. And sometimes you can have some really unconscious thoughts that are trying to sabotage you. Like what part of you thinks that you kind of deserve this subconsciously. So all of these things, this is why I'm so big on subconscious work, because we don't realize that. But so many experts are saying that 95% of what we do is based on our subconscious. So we think we're pretty much only operating from like 5% consciousness, which is wild when you think about it. So that's why I always promote us doing whatever we can, whatever tools we have, to really extract some more knowledge and power on our subconscious. And this is one amazing way that you can do this. So your birth chart, it doesn't shame you. Actually, I see so much compassion in the birth chart. It is just there. It's reflecting the true you. We have a tendency to go out there and ask everyone, oh, what should I do? No. But it's wild when you think about it. These people don't know you. They're not in your shoes. They're not living your life. They can't really, but then we give so much weight to what these people tell us. Instead, this is my invitation, inviting you to turn inwards, because this is where you will find the best answers. And this is where you have amazing tools like your birth chart that is here for you. It's your personal guidance to help you move through life. Again, I'm here to tell you, to ask you to really bring compassion into your life. There's no need to feel shame, no need to feel, guilt. It's just nothing but love and pure compassion. And that really helps us enjoy the journey even more. And again, this is the purpose of life. That's the purpose of the journey. This is why we're here. We literally come here to learn. This is to learn from those lessons, from all of these experiences, and to evolve into our next best version of ourselves, both like on the physical plane and even like on our soul level plane. It's absolutely fascinating. So again, I want you to understand, you are not cursed, you are not doomed. I'm saying that because I hear people say that way too often, and every time it just breaks my heart, okay? You are not cursed, you are not doomed. You just here because that's exactly what your soul needs in order to do the work it needs to do in order to evolve to the next level, just like we're all doing here on planet Earth. The chart is here to help you. It's a gentle guide. My clients are always like totally in disbelief when they realize how much accurate things are and how much help and how it just totally can change their lives. So do take advantage of that tool, as I think it is an amazing tool that has been created especially for you, right from the above, right from the cosmics, right from the universe, right from the light force, from God, from the divine intelligence. It's just absolutely beautiful. Remember, you don't need to work harder, you need to work with your design. In the next video, we are talking about why even therapy, coaching, all the crazy work that you're doing can still keep you in a loop and what you can do about it. So definitely do check out that next video, and I'll see you over there.